Hello guys, Crispy here and welcome back to another video. It is one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing a GeForce RTX 3080 Ti in Spider Man Remastered. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers, which are optimized for this game. I'm not overclocking the card, as you can see, and you can check out all of its specs here in Tech Power-Up's GPUs. It's a 12GB GDDR6X GPU, desktop variant of the card, and over on the left we're pairing it with a Ryzen 95900X and 32GB of RAM. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's start by going through the settings. I'm playing at 4K resolution, but we're also going to test this one at 1440p, 1080p, and 8K at the end of the video. We're using no DLSS at the moment, but we're also going to test it out, of course, and the very high settings preset. I just disabled the chromatic aberration, the motion blur, and the film grain strength because I don't really like these effects. There is also ray tracing in this game, and I'm curious to see how it looks here with the 3080 Ti. It wasn't really that impressive with the 2060, but let's do this now. Alright, this is looking fantastic, and let's just swing around, see our FPS for a little bit, because that's all we can do here to benchmark this video. I'm not gonna play through any missions because, well, then it's gonna be spoilers for you guys, and I don't want that. Hi people, how's it going? Did you just screamed here? I heard a very big scream, very loud scream. Alright. Holy shit. Okay. So sorry, people. So sorry. The police don't seem to care at all that I'm doing bad things. Look at this. Yeah, alright. It's not like GTA, you know. The police are actually on your side in this one. But anyway, as you can see, this is absolutely buttery smooth here. It's not a very high refresh rate experience, but this is native 4K resolution. Of course, we still have that DLSS support to play around with if you want more FPS, but you know what? I think this is totally more than enough to play and enjoy this game a lot. It's just absolutely gorgeous here at 4K resolution, super crispy, super nice. 12 gigs of VRAM here in this GPU are also more than enough. As you can see, it's using 9 gigs. Even the normal 3080 with 10 gigabytes should be absolutely fine for this game. Yeah, I mean, this is lovely, and the fact that it doesn't stutter is a breath of fresh air, you know, because most games these days do stutter quite a bit. So I love that this game is actually pretty well optimized, at least on the GPU side of things, because as we will see in this video, whenever we drop the resolution to like 1080p, it's gonna become CPU bound pretty fast, but that's completely normal, I think, because look at this huge city, you know, it's rendering all of this. And it looks fantastic. It has a lot of people walking around and stuff. So of course, it's extremely demanding to render all of that stuff. Like, just take a look at this. I actually want to go to that building because it's probably the biggest one in this entire map. That's gonna be fun, actually. I love that this is open world, guys. An open world Spider-Man title. You know, I know it's been on consoles for a long time already, but seeing it on PC is a different story. It's native 4K, you know, native 4K, 60 plus FPS all of the time. It's incredible, basically. Alright, we just arrived at the top of the city, unless that one is actually higher than this one. God damn it. Alright, should we dive, guys? Actually, last time that I dived into the water in this game, it was pretty weird. Because there is no splash, almost. Let's see. Yeah, see that? You dive from all the way up there and there is no splash. That's a bit weird. Okay, anyways. It performs incredibly well here at 4K. I haven't seen a single stutter, guys. That's amazing. So let's stop it right there. And let's enable some ray tracing now, because, again, I'm really curious to see that. So I will turn that on. You don't need to restart the game to apply this, by the way. It's already applied. And should we do, like, very high? Well, we got a 3080 Ti, so we should be able to max out the ray tracing settings, right? Okay. Ooh, all right, 50 frames per second. But it does look pretty good, although I can still spot a bit of noise there in the reflections. What are you guys doing? Was that supposed to be a photograph of me? I'm not sure, actually. What I'm noticing, by the way, is that this game has a ton of screen tearing with my capture card, so I'm sorry about that if you're prone to noticing that. Yeah, I can't really do anything about that if I want lossless recording basically without any FPS hits. So that's like a little trade-off, you know. Spider-Man. Okay, here, right here. Look at those reflections. They're a bit noisy whenever you move, yes, but wow, they are accurate. Look at that. Taxi, green car right there. Well, that's not quite green, it's a taxi. It's a little bit less yellow than the other one, but it's not that green. But hey, anyway, it's pretty impressive. Real-time reflections right here. Oh my gosh, it actually reflects pretty much everything. That's very impressive, guys. Very, very impressive. And it's still playable here, guys. Oh my gosh. Like, what the heck? Like, the ray tracing implementation in this game is actually quite good. Look at our reflection right there as well. But this is gorgeous. This game is absolutely fantastic when it comes to the visuals. Holy. I could just play it for the visuals, honestly. Just to spiderweb around the city and see those beautiful graphics. Yeah, I will say that it's actually worth it. If you care about reflections, these are pretty good ones in this game. Not gonna lie. I honestly thought I wouldn't care about that. And I usually don't care about ray tracing, but seeing those awesome reflections in these skyscrapers, it's just awesome, guys. It's fantastic. Fantastic game. I love it. I love it already. I've only played for like an hour and a half so far, but it is so damn nice. Okay. Oh, wait. All right, thank you. Oh, yes, grassy areas or vegetation areas. Are they intensive in this one? Doesn't seem like they are. We're getting pretty much the same FPS. You know what? Like a 3090 Ti would actually probably be capable of getting 60 plus on average here using ray tracing and all the bells and whistles. But I just remembered, we still have DLSS. Yes! Can we actually get 60 plus FPS with RT? That will be insane. Okay. I know that DLSS in this game looks really good. You can even play it on like balanced DLSS if you want to, but I will check it out on quality first. Alright. Okay. I didn't really see a big difference with the RTX 2060 when I enabled DLSS, but here with the 3080 Ti, it's actually quite noticeable. That is nice. I'm gonna start counting our FPS here. Let's see those reflections with DLSS and ray tracing enabled. Alright, stuttering a little bit more. It might be applying something in behind the scenes. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Oh, what the hell is this? Is it a party or something? Jeez, I'm sorry, people. I didn't think that I would cause like a blast or something in the ground and everybody would fall. That's a very tiny pool. Can we actually... Oh, it's it's just to refresh yourself sometime, okay? Oh, and then there is this. Can we burn ourselves? No, we cannot. Okay. Alright, let's go down there. See FPS in the grassy area, actually, because we saw like 50-something here, 54, whatever it was. Now it's in the 70s. Okay. Guys, I think this is the way to play this game. I really think so. Again, I usually say that you shouldn't bother with ray tracing, but in this game, it makes a difference. It really does. And the fact that we can still get 60 plus FPS here with 3080 Ti at 4K using quality DLSS, but yeah, it looks basically like 4K native. It's fantastic. You guys do whatever you want. That's why I'm showing you a lot of different settings, but I'm telling you that I would lock the FPS to 60, play with DLSS, probably unbalanced actually, and ray tracing enabled as well. Because it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm actually gonna do that. Here we go. This is it. Ooh, 100 FPS. Of course. Oh my god, it's actually 100 FPS. I thought it was because we were looking at the wall. Damn, that is pretty impressive. Okay, start counting our FPS here. We still need to test it out using... Ooh, it's dropping actually. Look at that. Using the non-ray tracing mode. So ray tracing disabled basically. That's just not a mode, okay? But yeah, we should disable ray tracing and test it out with the DLSS at native 4K resolution without RT. And see those reflections as well, you know? Let's see if they are still there, at least most of them. What just happened here? The car disappeared. Oh, of course, it's one of those bastards. Okay, goodbye, sir. Wait a second. Wait. There are 3 of them, probably. Because there usually are 3 of them. Okay, there we go. Oh, stay there, buddy. All right, hope you enjoy my little things. Those came out of my dick. I don't know what version of Spider-Man this is, but I know that the first one, he actually shot things off of his thing, you know. It's kind of weird. Oh, bigger pool. That's nice. Is this one deep? Yes, it is. Look at that. Well, kind of. It could be a little bit more full, but you know, with the drought all over the world and stuff like that, well, it's good that it isn't. Come on. No, I want to push them. Come on. Run. Oh, nope, doesn't work. No, that's a bit of a shame. I would like to do that. It would be fun. It would be fun. Anyways, guys, that's it for RT testing here using the 4K resolution. I'm gonna disable ray tracing now. Here we go. And ooh, look at our FPS. Balanced DLSS still, which looks like native resolution here at 4K. So feel free to just use these settings. Yeah, we are actually CPU bound at this point. I think it's CPU bound. It could be other things bound, but if I had something like a 12900K, I think we would get more FPS. So it is a CPU bottleneck. Although it's not a worrisome one because it gets extremely high FPS, as you can see. Like, if you think about it, something like Need for Speed Heat has a much smaller city than this one. And it's more CPU bound than this game. I get less FPS in that game, CPU bound, than in this one. And this looks way better as well, like, no comparison. Wow, that is crazy, guys. Love it. All right, let's stop it there. And I will now try to set it to quality just to see the performance difference here. So continue, yes. It is applied, right? Yes, it is. And it's pretty much the same in terms of looks. But now we shouldn't be as CPU bound, although we are still seeing a little bit of fluctuation there on the GPU side of things. But yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Just use DLSS quality, basically. Oh yes, we gotta check out the reflections in those buildings, guys. Let's see, without ray tracing. Okay. Yeah, that is way different, isn't it? You can't see the cars here, you can't see the people walking in the streets. It's just a very low resolution and awful reflection there. So I think it's actually worth keeping RT enabled and playing with DLSS balanced at 4K with 3080 Ti. So let's disable DLSS now. And I think we're not going to utilize it at the lower resolutions because we're already going to be CPU bound and the GPU utilization will only get lower. And ultimately, whenever we are CPU bound and enable DLSS, it gets pretty much the same FPS, just with slightly lower GPU utilization. So as you can see, we are kind of like 90% of the time it's CPU bound, basically. All right, at 1440p highest settings without ray tracing. So maybe with ray tracing it's going to be really great actually here at this resolution. 1440p is, after all, the sweet spot for most gamers, in my opinion. I really like 4K, by the way. Ever since I upgraded to a 4K panel, it's been amazing, the experiences, especially in single-player titles. But, you know, 1440p at 27 inches looks almost as good. You know, you can tell a difference, yes, but it's super sharp still and very detailed, so you're not losing much by playing at 1440p in these games. And in games that require faster reactions, you will definitely benefit from having a 1440p panel, because it will still look good and play with way higher FPS than 4K. But still, if you have a 4K panel, there's nothing to worry about with the 3080 Ti, obviously. But if you have a 1440p panel with this GPU, well, this is it. You already know what to expect. Very high FPS indeed. High refresh rate experience, actually, with a huge city like this and beautiful graphics. That's very impressive, actually. So let's go over to the graphics settings, enable ray tracing again, and see how it performs. 1440p with ray tracing, and let's see those reflections there. Yeah. So you can see a lot of noise, even at native resolution. But the thing is, it still looks way better than without ray tracing, so I think it's, again, worth keeping that on. Also, not sure if you're seeing some texture popping, but that sometimes happens here in this one. Oh, wow. Way, way better, right? Very noisy, but way better than before. And I want to check out the reflections on the cars as well. One thing I saw with the 2060 playing on high ray tracing, not very high, was that there was a lot of noise, even at 1440p, in these reflective surfaces. What do you want? What do you want? No, don't you get it off. Okay, alright, let's kill him. You bastard. Why do you do this? Can we actually see? Yeah, the body right there is reflecting as well. That's awesome. But yeah, on very high ray tracing, there is not much noise on the cars, which is great. Yeah, that's pretty solid, guys. And it's still well above 60 frames per second. Very comfortable experience here. It's still CPU bound, by the way, because ray tracing is also really intensive. What the hell just happened? Out-of-date drivers, are you kidding me? Just so we see, check for updates. There are no more updates. These are the latest ones, okay? Let's go again. Anyway, a lot of people think that RT is only GPU bound. It is definitely not, okay? I actually used to think that, but after testing a lot of games with RT, I see that the CPU also gets taxed a lot. But yeah, that's it for 1440p with very high ray tracing, always above 60 frames per second, super nice and smooth experience. Again, if you enable the DLSS, it's going to be pretty much the same experience here, so I won't do that at these lower resolutions. And finally, 1080p resolution, it's getting exactly the same FPS as 1440 here because, well, it's CPU bound. And this is just a very low resolution to play with a 3080 Ti. I mean, if you're not an esports player, like a very competitive one, I don't recommend you to get a 1080p monitor with a beast GPU like this one, you know? Something like a 360 hertz might sound appealing, you know, or 240 hertz 1080p monitor. But no, I mean, it's just not worth it. And the thing is, at these lower resolutions, the CPU bottlenecks become even more pronounced with these 30 series cards. So it's not worth getting a 1080p monitor with one of these, unless you plan on keeping that 3080 Ti for like 10 years or something crazy like that. Then it might make sense, but you're gonna be missing out, guys, okay? I can see that there is definitely not as much detail, and it's not because my monitor is 4K and I'm playing at 1080p, so everything looks a little bit blurrier than usual. So basically, we're seeing exactly the same FPS, wait, oh, there we go, as 1440p native resolution, which is to be expected because we weren't GPU bound at 1440p. So let's stop it there, not waste a lot of time here at 1080p, because, you know, not many people will play like this. Enable ray tracing, just quickly to see it. Alright, back at it, we're seeing massive drop in performance. Even though we're not GPU bound, it is just getting way less FPS than at 1080p without RT. So this is all CPU what we're testing right now, by the way. Basically, we're seeing that the 5900X is good for 60 plus FPS all of the time, or like 68 plus FPS all of the time using ray tracing, which is great because it's still a very playable experience, obviously. But yeah, we're not really testing the 3080 Ti anymore, or at least we're testing like 80% of it. Okay, this is it, 7680 by 4320. Let's disable the anti-aliasing. Actually, there's no need for that here. And very high settings still, with no ray tracing. I'm not really gonna play with ray tracing at 8K. Well, maybe we might at the end, just to see like 0 frames. Wow, that's actually impressive. It's taking a really long time to load those textures though at this res. But wow. What the hell? I expected worse because the game has so many details. I might have expected worse because in Microsoft Flight Simulator there is a huge city like this one, like in New York, for example, and we got like 3 FPS or whatever it was at the max settings in 8K. Maybe 15 or something. I don't remember. I just remember it to be completely awful, and I couldn't really do anything. Right here, however, I can actually still do things. Although it feels pretty bad. I don't recommend it, obviously. If you want 8K, you should wait for the next generation of GPUs. I'm still impressed that we can get this fidelity with cinematic frame rates, you know? Because if... I know you're watching this at a lower resolution on YouTube. I'm sorry about that. It's just that I can't render 4K yet for some reason. It just messes up everything. But I will zoom in now. So you can see that the detail is just crazy. Whoa. So amazing, actually. Holy crap. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just incredible. All right. And it's still cinematic. Okay, if you want to make a movie, Spider-Man movie, in this game, you can do it at 8K with 3080 Ti. And very high settings. At lower settings, it would probably become playable, actually. You know what? Let's try it out using ray tracing. It's gonna wreck everything, guys. If it doesn't crash, I will actually be impressed. Oh boy, cuts our FPS in not half, surprisingly. What the hell? Why isn't ray tracing? Okay, we're running out of VRAM now. Okay, guys, this is ray tracing, the power of ray tracing. I was thinking, what the hell? How is it so good still? 15 FPS? Well, that's great with ray tracing at 8K, but yeah, it's 1 frame per second after all. We needed more VRAM. I think a 3090 or 3090 Ti would actually do it. I guess that's been it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it. Let me know if you enjoyed it and if it was helpful to you. And also let me know what settings you're gonna utilize with your beast GPU in this game. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next one very soon. And as always, love you all. Bye-bye.